How many senses does a human being have?
Primarily, a human being has a total of 16 senses.
Something beyond the five senses does exist.
So many members of the medical community and even scientific background, they are vouching for such abilities.
A human being has got no limitation.
Today, if you ask someone, how many senses do you have? The instant answer you'll hear is 5. But now, after extensive research, scientists are saying that we may actually have as many as 33 senses. Now, while this may be baffling for most, it's perhaps not surprising at all for proponents of ancient Vedic sciences that have admitted the existence of higher human senses since ages. Are humans capable of far more than we're aware of? Is modern science now acknowledging ancient wisdom? To discuss this further, I'm joined by Yogi Ashwiniji. He has studied Vedic philosophy for over 4 decades with centers in all major countries like US, Australia and the US. He is an expert in Vedic martial arts, has proven the efficacy of Vedic sciences multiple times internationally. Vouched by medical fraternity, he has practically showcased clairvoyance in front of a packed audience of doctors at the Indian Medical Association, and he works closely with India's border security forces against illegal cattle trafficking into Bangladesh, which as per NIA reports is primarily responsible for funding terrorism in India. And I'll also like to introduce our other guest. To get a medical science perspective to this discussion, I'm also joined by Dr. Prasann Prabhakar, a senior cardiologist with 25 years of experience, and MD Lakshmi Hospitals, Kochi. Thank you so much for joining us here on WION. Yogi Ashwiniji, I would like to start the discussion with your demonstration of clairvoyance. The Indian Medical Association gave you 10 photos of their own patients, and the doctors who openly acknowledged you accurately diagnosed their ailments just by looking at their photos. Now, I've interacted with doctors who saw this experiment being done firsthand. Is this done through a higher sense? How many senses does a human being have?
Primarily, a human being has a total of 16 senses, not 33. 16. 16 is the limit that a human being can go till. And that is the ultimate, once you reach the 16th sense. When those photographs were given, it was just about activation of a higher sense by the sadhaks of Dhyan Ashram. I normally don't do this anymore now. A lot of years, since 25 years, I've stopped doing all this because the practices have to carry on. Like I just said, 16 senses. This is true with the 6th or the 7th sense maximum. It is much, 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 much more beyond this. Understand one thing. I want you to just look at this very seriously. If you see, Vimanika Shastra given by Rishi Bhardwaj talks about planes, airplanes. Rigved talks about speed of light 7,000 years back. Vishika Stotras talk about gravity 2,000 years ago. Now, the problem that is this is that we have totally failed as gurus to bring out our sciences. We want to ape the Western communities, which are just a maximum of 1,500-year-old cultures. We are mostly now becoming pseudo-Westerners. We are forgetting a culture totally. We are completely forgetting that all that has been given to us, all this, everything, magnetism, cell, zero. They call it the Arabic numerals, zero. Again from here, Aryabat. So now if you will see, everything has come to us from our ancient scriptures, but we have just put it under the garb like this. Now I'll just tell you, I was in Egypt last week. And I was trying to enter the tomb of Khufu. And that chap told me 2,000 people come every day to see this tomb. And it is nothing. It's just a small passage which they have cut out from the tomb. It is not even a natural passage. And 2,000 people every day. And here we have history in this country. History. Thousands of years, millions of years old history. And just under the garbs. I don't know what's happening, what's going on. They are making countries, they are making complete GDPs out of just tourism and showing tombs. And what are we doing? We have these beautiful temples. Kailasha temple, 7 stories up, 7 stories below, cut out of single rock, Chinnakeshwar, mirror polished stones. What are we doing? Everything, Shivanji, is in our Shastras. We should just not become pseudo-Westerners. We should just become pure Indians. Look at the Vedic philosophy and we'll find everything possible in it, music, surgery. I can go on and on for hours. Due to shortage of time, I don't think I'll continue this further. But everything, what are we doing? What are we telling our children? It is just the seventh sense that has been activated by the Dhyana Ashram followers, and they have done this.
Understood. Yogi ji, stay with me. Let me now get a medical perspective on this, because I'd like to get a perspective from the proponent of the medical sciences, Dr. Prasan, who's also there with us. Dr. Prasan, this clairvoyance experiment, it was conducted in front of your fraternity. They accepted that what they're seeing is something they've never seen before. I've seen those videos, I've interacted with those doctors. Is modern science now agreeing with ancient wisdom? As a doctor, what do you feel about this finding? Do higher senses exist?
So I couldn't believe it, because I'm not able to digest such a thing. How is it possible that somebody can do this, not even by looking at the patient? So I wanted to see this myself to believe. So I traveled to Mumbai. I was told that Yogi Ashwini ji was giving a discourse there. So I personally attended that discourse. Just wanted to meet him and discuss more about the science. There was one lady. She would be in her 40s, and she was sitting in the last row. So suddenly Yogi Ashwini ji just stops talking, just looks at her, pauses for a few seconds, and tells her that you have got advanced liver disease. I mean, how could he say like this? I was shocked. She looked absolutely normal to me. And after the discourse was over, I went and met her personally and asked her. She said that she has got advanced non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, and her STPT was in 300, 400 range. So, see, at this stage, medical science will not be able to diagnose looking at patients. You will not be able to see the face and tell this. So, this was my practical experience. So, this was a live proof that something beyond the five senses does exist, because somebody has seen, just by looking at the patient, telling a clear diagnosis what the person has so precisely. And Shivan, let me tell you, I have an oncologist friend also, and he is also in touch with Yogi Ashwini ji, who discusses medical queries with him. And Shivan, I'll have a list of lot of doctors who are doctors and scientists, who are regularly in touch with Yogi Ashwini ji, and you can vouch for this science, and they've had their practical experiences, and they've seen live demonstration of these things, because they keep discussing this medical subject with Yogi Ashwini. That's all I would like to say.
It's really interesting to note that so many members of the medical community and even scientific background, they are vouching for such abilities which would be beneficial for everyone in their respective fields. Dr. Prasan, thanks so much for joining us and giving your perspective. I would like to now continue this discussion with Yogi Ashwini ji. Sir, this is a field which needs much more study, and perhaps all these scientists and doctors that Dr. Prasan was quoting, I would like to also interview them eventually. But seems we've barely tapped into the potential of human existence. What should researchers and scientists be studying further to understand sensory networks of humans, in your appreciation, sir?
When you say humans and sensory networks, it is something you're talking in isolation. A human is not, when you talk about these senses, a human in isolation. We have this kush. We have got the next one. And when it's called the pran, manomaya, anandamaya, vigyanmaya, like it goes on, 7 layers. So when you talk about a human being, like you're talking as a human, what you see with the 5 senses. I'm talking about all those layers. A human being has got no limitation. You have to only open the doors inside. You have to internalize with the practice. The basic practice given is Sanatan Kriya. And Sanatan Kriya is a tool which will just open the doors inside. Once you open the doors inside, the whole creation lies inside you. It is not outside. Outside is only a reflection of what is there inside you. Don't forget, energy cannot be created or destroyed. It only changes form. And energy is never a constant. It either goes up or goes down. So according to the law of entropy, what happens is energy, when left like that, goes down. So what you're calling a human being, what is happening, going to be happening now? If left just like that, living in the physical world with the 5 senses, eat, drink, make merry, sex, fun, entropy will take over and the human being will start going down. And since energy changes form, so what that other form of that human being is going to be scientifically, you just apply your brains, you're an intelligent boy. Scientifically, you think, what will be the next birth? And there is the proof of the lower birth. And if you introduce a catalyst, a mantra, a Vedic mantra, karma, then what happens? Your energy takes a higher form, maybe the form of a god or a goddess. So it is all to do with the whole layers of existence, and anything and everything can be tapped at every level. Practically, we can do it anytime and show you. Do a yagya, what they used to say. The manifestations of gods and goddesses are going to come in that. And it's not going to be AI. It can be done live. You take a picture and you see what happens. Now, how is it happening? It is just the consciousness is tapping into those realms. And those realms are revealing themselves in the Agni because fire is an element which cannot be polluted. So it is the purest form of the five elements. So it is used for manifesting gods and goddesses. So this is not just mumbo jumbo tales. I just told you, all the scientific discoveries are there in our shastras. You have to make a guru, and the guru has to reveal it to you. You cannot study it, read it, use AI for it. You have to have a guru who will awaken and open your senses. And then you will have access to all this, and anybody can do this.
So you've answered my next question too, because I really wanted to understand, do these senses exist in everyone and do they need to be awakened? How does one develop such abilities? They've just told me we just have a few more minutes left. If there's anything more that you would like to add, I'd like to hand it over to you once again.
Since you have a very big audience and of intelligentsia, of course, some pseudo-Westerners also in that, but that's okay. You have to understand we need to go to our basics. We need to go over the bondages of religion, lifestyle, diet, rituals, everything. We need to release the bondages and we need to awaken. We should not go for the knowledge of the subject. We should go for the gyan of the subject. And that gyan is given by a guru who just does not talk sweet or talk big, who can also walk the talk. Every guru, what he or she speaks, has also to walk the talk. If that is happening, the entire creation is opened in front of you. Now what they're telling us, now they're telling us about artificial intelligence. We have the story of Barbaric. They have discovered that metallic head. You just name anything like surgery, music, dance, martial arts, what I practice. We of course teach that all over the world also. You just name anything. It's right there. And a guru will reveal. He will never teach. And a journey is going to be experiential. It will never be a journey of learning. It will be a journey of experience. You experience all this as you progress. You don't learn all this. That's all I have to say. So wherever you go, whichever guru you choose, it's okay. Experience is a must for this journey.
Yogi Ashwiniji, thank you so much for sharing your insights and your vast knowledge and experience. As you mentioned, it's not knowledge, it is Gyan, sharing that with all of us. And there is a lot that you mentioned which I would like to really sit and ponder over, because there is a lot of history involved in it, and of course a lot of practical experiences which have been vouched by the medical fraternity themselves. Thank you so much for sharing this. There would be much more to discuss. Would love to have you with us once again.
Thank you. Har Har Mahadev.
Now, that was a discussion. That's something, at least in my own personal career, I have not had in the past, when we've had doctors and scientific background, professionals with decades of experience vouching for something which comes from the Vedic sciences. But there you heard this discussion. There will be more such discussions. Let us know in the comments what else you would like to know.